So what is going on with the Evil Dead franchise right now? I don't make movie news videos a lot, but I felt compelled to talk about this because Evil Dead is my favorite horror series of all time. But the Evil Dead franchise moving forward is in this very strange state right now where there are two different Evil Dead movies being conceptualized and created right at the same time. I have no idea if they're going to be connected to one another or not. And there's also a potential Evil Dead animated series on the way. So let's just kind of dive into this and see what we have available to us out there as far as information goes, which is not much. The first of which comes from Fangoria today, posted an article that the title of one of the two upcoming Evil Dead movies has a new title called Evil Dead Burn. I don't know how I feel about that title yet. I mean, Evil Dead Burn. I mean, Evil Dead Rise was the title of the last one, which kind of had a double connotation of the demons themselves rising, as well as the movie took place in an apartment complex in a high rise. So made a little bit of sense. Evil Dead Burn. Maybe it's about firefighters. I don't know. I better see some people burning. That's all I have to say. Don't really have any gripes with the title, really. Just kind of saying that in jest. But the guy that's going to direct this one is Sebastian Vanekek. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but he posted this on his Instagram today. Evil Dead Burn, written by him and Florent Bernard, and directed by him, based on, of course, the original Evil Dead by Sam Raimi. The series, not necessarily the original film. So that is now confirmed. But the crazy thing is that there is another Evil Dead movie that is going to be directed by this guy, Francis Galuppi, who, again, him and the previous director have only made one movie each, of which I have not seen. He's made Last Stop in Yuma County, and Sebastian made a movie called Infested that came out in 2023. I don't know if anybody saw that. Looks like a horror movie. But I have yet to check that out. So I can't comment on whether or not they would be a good fit for Evil Dead, but all I know is that both of those directors are currently right now working on an Evil Dead project. Again, I don't know if they're going to be connected in any way. See, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, from what I've heard for the future of the Evil Dead franchise, is they would like to use Evil Dead as sort of a launching ground for new directors or people that are trying to break into making movies or break into making horror movies, kind of like a throwback to, the original Evil Dead being Sam Raimi's first movie and giving him the opportunity to eventually break into making bigger films. He went on to make the Spider-Man franchise and all of that. So I do like the idea of kind of taking your property and opening it up to new generations and new people that want to, come into this horror world. Hopefully they are, really hardcore Evil Dead fans. I'm sure there's a screening process of some sort that goes on. And, giving them the opportunity to play into that world and to basically make their own Evil Dead movie as a stepping stone to something else. And I think that is a really cool thing that they are doing. That is what they did for Fede Alvarez, who made the Evil Dead remake in 2013. And of course, he went on to make Don't Breathe, and he made Alien Romulus earlier this year. And regardless of what you think of that film, some people love it, some people hate it. He probably would not have had the opportunity to get there if Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell didn't allow him to make that Evil Dead film. Also, Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, if you're watching, which I'm sure that you are, I have a great idea for an Evil Dead movie. I'm not going to say it in the video because I don't want anyone to take it, but I'm just saying, if you want to give first-time filmmakers an opportunity, go ahead, throw one at me. I'll take the lowest possible budget that you'll offer. I won't even ask for that much. All I need is a barrel of blood, a couple of actors, and a location. I got this. Now, although I like the idea of them giving this opportunity to upcoming filmmakers, it does bum me out that we are getting more Evil Dead movies without Ash, the character, because for me, Ash is as synonymous with Evil Dead as Freddy is to Nightmare on Elm Street or Jason is to Friday the 13th, even though there's at least 2 Friday the 13th movies without Jason. Well, without Jason as the killer. But anyways, it just is one of those things where I wish they could find a way to bring Ash back. So from what I understand, back when they made the 2013, the first remake, that was conceptualized to be a remake. But then afterwards, they have kind of retroactively said, well, it can take place in the same universe, in the same timeline. There can be different Evil Dead Necronomicon, different books of the dead out there. So, they could tie it in if they wanted to. I honestly think that they should. I'm also a huge fan of the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV series, which if you are a fan of the original Evil Dead movies, the movies with Ash, and you have not seen Ash vs. Evil Dead, the series, I am telling you, you got to get off your ass and watch that as soon as possible because it is fan-frickin-tastic, particularly if you like the tone of Evil Dead 2, moving into Army of Darkness. It hits that perfect horror comedy blend with Bruce Campbell being the quintessential Ash. Yes, he's an old man now, and that plays into the jokes, but it makes it an interesting series to watch to see how Ash handles this and to see where Ash kind of wound up all these years later. Bruce Campbell does a hell of a performance for his age, especially with the physical acting and everything. And that show was able to go as balls to the wall as they wanted. Like there was very little censorship. So there's blood, there's gore, there's swearing, there's everything that you want in there. It's just a great series overall. 3 seasons. Definitely check it out. They expand on the lore of the franchise. Anyways, going on way too long. All I'm saying is that I wish they could find a way to keep Ash within the franchise, at least to some degree, whether or not that's just like a cameo or whether or not he doesn't have to be the main character, but maybe he could be this sort of legend, this chosen one, this guy that fought against the Deadites. Who is this guy? The person that's pictured in the Necronomicon from being in the past, from Army of Darkness and everything. Just to keep some kind of continuity and to keep some kind of legacy of the Ash character going, even if he's not going to be a main character in these movies. But again, I don't know if they're going to be doing that. It seems like they might be going for the full horror route, which is fine. And there's no reason that Ash couldn't be involved in that as well. But I would also like them to bring in, Kelly and Pablo from the show. I would like them to find a way to bring them in, I get the idea of giving these new directors the keys to the Evil Dead world so that they can make their own kind of standalone horror film. And I think it probably does make more sense to do that. But me just being an Evil Dead fan, I would love them to find a way to bring, Kelly and Pablo and Mia from the Evil Dead remake and Beth from Evil Dead Rise and just find a way to kind of incorporate these characters, even if they just have a small part, just to let us know that they all still exist. They're all still out there and maybe all still battling demonic entities in their own way. The other thing I would like to see from the movies is to incorporate different types of demons. So both Evil Dead from 2013 and Evil Dead Rise did a good job capturing, the Deadites, and they did different varieties of the Deadites. 2013 Evil Dead added in their own kind of final antagonist, which was really cool. I like that they did it, although it did take the form of the main character, so it still kind of just looked like a regular Deadite. But the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV series does expand to give us different kind of demons like Elagos, and it showed us the dark ones, the ones that wrote the Necronomicon and stuff. So and of course like Kandar, the giant kaiju at the end. So I would actually like to see different kinds of horror creatures in these movies as well, rather than just Deadites themselves. But, we'll see where they go with that. Once again, I don't know if these 2 new movies, Evil Dead Burn and whatever the other one is going to be, are going to be connected to the last 2 Evil Dead movies that we got. But as of right now, I'm just saying as a fan, I wish that they would connect them, as well as I wish they would incorporate Ash at least to a small degree, even if it's a cameo, just to let us know that this is the Evil Dead world that we know and love. So adding on to that from a different article that came out about 2 months ago, so there has been this rumbling of an Evil Dead animated series. Now, I would not hold my breath for this, because this feels like one of those things that is continuously talked about and in development and being created, but until we see an actual still or a poster or a teaser or something, it's just going to be one of those things that I don't buy into. And this is, from a guy that's been waiting for a new Spawn animation for like 30 years. So like, I don't put too much stock into this stuff. However, Bruce Campbell has said that they've been, developing it, and that this is what he would be willing to do for Ash moving forward because of the physicality of the role. So it's very unlikely that we will see him as Ash once again, at least as a main character. Again, I'm kind of crossing my fingers. Maybe it's hope, maybe it's cope. that we'll see him in an Evil Dead movie or something in some capacity as just like the character just is there, you know? But he says himself that, you know, obviously the role is extremely physically taxing and the man is in his 60s now, so it makes sense that he would want to retire it. And he also says that he would be willing to do the voice of Ash as a character if they did an animated series. But this article also does go on to say that, Campbell says it'll be a different scenario, not directly connected. So it seems like the animated series would be taking place in its own continuity. So it wouldn't be connected to the Ash versus Evil Dead TV show, and it wouldn't be connected to the movies, which, I mean, makes sense. And then, you know, they have more creativity that they could do in animation, that they could make it go as bonkers as they possibly wanted. I mean, if you're dealing with time travel and dimension hopping and that kind of stuff, I mean, animation is kind of ripe to do whatever you want with that. So I would be fine with that. Obviously, I would watch it. I would be excited for it, but I'd rather see live action. You know, I'd rather see Bruce Campbell once again on screen. So yeah, as of right now, Evil Dead Burn is the official title of the next one. And I did see that it's going to be released in 2026. So it'll be filmed next year, released in 2026. So we'll see how that does. As far as the other Evil Dead movie, no information is out about it right now, at least as the recording of this video. So we'll see where that goes. So I'm going to ask you guys, where do you guys want to see the Evil Dead franchise go in the future, or do you just want it to be done? I think Evil Dead is rare in the horror world in that I don't think there is one bad movie or show in the entire series. Granted, there's only 5 movies, but even the ones that don't have Ash, and I was a naysayer, man, like I remember going to see the original Evil Dead remake in 2013. And I wanted to hate that movie because I love Evil Dead. I was like, you can't do Evil Dead without Ash. This is stupid, you know? And I went in and I thought it was good. And I liked Evil Dead Rise as well. Not as much as the 2013, but I liked it a lot. So, I mean, it's possible to do these movies without Ash. It's just not how I prefer my Evil Dead. But yeah, what do you guys want? Do you want Ash? Is it not Evil Dead if Ash is not in it? Do you think this movie could be good? Did you see his first movie, Infested? And is that a good precedent for an Evil Dead director? You know, if you did see it, let me know. So yeah, that's it for now, guys. So yeah, like I said, 2 movies out there, one with a title, animated series maybe, and we'll see where it goes. So let me know what you guys want moving forward. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up and a comment. I'll talk to you later.